now for our next news special report.
Tonight I bring you a story that's setting the internet on fire. Imagine this: Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a man known for his muscular brawn and Hollywood charm, suddenly finds himself in a political quagmire, all thanks to a few words on the Joe Rogan podcast. It's a tale of laughter, backtracking, and perhaps a hidden truth about the state of our nation. In a world where your political stance can be as defining as your fingerprint, the Rock slip of the tongue opens a Pandora's box of questions and reveals the deep divide in our society. This story isn't just a fleeting moment of humor, it's a window into the ongoing battle between the elites and the everyday American. So stay with me as we unravel this narrative thread by thread, and trust me, you don't want to miss the final thought that I've got lined up. It's going to be a game changer. So folks, before we dive into the twists and turns of today's special report, I want to take a moment for our sponsors. Just like The Rock suddenly realizing he might be in over his head with his political comments, sometimes we find ourselves facing unexpected realities. And that's why our sponsors are so crucial. They're the backbone ensuring that we can continue delivering top-notch news. And speaking of reliability, in these times of skyrocketing energy bills, many of you are feeling the pinch. And that's where our sponsor steps in with their innovative energy-saving device. It's simple, effective, and a game changer for your electricity bills. Just plug it in and watch the savings roll in. Don't wait. Head over to don'twastepower.com for a whopping 66% off. Remember, supporting them is like giving us a high five to keep delivering the stories that you need. So tonight, our report is a journey through the corridors of power, humor, and the stark realities of our nation's political landscape. It starts with a seemingly innocuous moment. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the Joe Rogan podcast, a platform known for unguarded, freewheeling discussions. But what transpired was more than just idle chat. It was a revealing glimpse into the mindset of one of Hollywood's biggest stars, and by extension, the elite that he represents. And during their conversation, Rogan and Johnson touched upon the current state of polarization in the United States, a topic that resonates with many of you. When I was a kid, you could have a Republican friend, like it was no big deal. Those are the words of Joe Rogan. And of course, The Rock agreed, nodding in affirmation, but it was what followed that sparked the firestorm. Like, Bobby likes George Bush. Oh, okay, who cares? That's what Rogan continued. Of course, he said something else. You know, you were a supporter of Bill Clinton. He liked George Bush. Nobody cared. I was like, well, F you. You know it wasn't like you're a Nazi. Well, we have the clip, and we're going to play it for you right now.
When I was a kid, you could have a Republican friend. Like, it was no big deal.
Yes.
It's no big deal. Like, oh, Bobby likes George Bush. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? You know, you were a supporter of Bill Clinton. He liked George Bush. Nobody cared. Nobody, like, fuck you. You know, it wasn't like you're a Nazi. Like, I'm a Nazi. I just want lower taxes.
What the fuck are you talking about?
How did I become a Nazi?
Dude, it's the craziest thing. I have friends who support Trump. I have friends who support Biden. I have friends.
Do you really have friends who support Biden?
I do.
Come on.
No. Here's what I do. I have friends. Thank you. That's a good check because that's important. This is important context.
They support the Democratic Party.
I have friends who are loyal to the party.
Yes.
This exchange might seem like mere banter, but it's indicative of a broader issue in today's America. We've reached a point where political affiliations are causing rifts in friendships, families, and communities. The Rock's laughter, in agreement with Rogan's commentary, suggests an awareness of this divide, yet his subsequent backtracking reveals the tightrope celebrities often walk in our politically charged environment. And Johnson's moment of candor came when he admitted, I have friends who support Trump. I have friends who support Biden. This statement alone isn't controversial, but in the context of Hollywood's predominantly liberal slant, it is significant. Rogan asked, quick to probe, do you really have friends who support Biden? And the response from Johnson was telling, no. Here's what I do. I have friends. Thank you, because that's a good check. It's important. That's what he said, as they burst out laughing. Now again, this laughter might seem lighthearted, but it's packed with implications. So here's The Rock, a potential future presidential candidate, according to recent polls, caught in a moment of truth. His backtrack underscores the pressure to conform with a certain narrative within the entertainment industry and, by extension, the broader liberal elite. But the story isn't just about The Rock. It's about the larger picture of Hollywood's hypocrisy. Take, for instance, the recent actions of Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne Johnson themselves. They pledged $10 million to help Maui wildfire victims, a noble cause, one might think. But then, the twist. They turned to you, the American public, to fill their charity coffers. We're talking about two individuals whose combined net worth is probably in the billions. In this move, while on the surface altruistic, belies a deeper disconnect between the elites and the everyday American. Oprah, with a net worth of $2.5 billion, and The Rock, the highest paid actor with $270 million, they're in a position to make a real difference without turning to the public for support. Yet here they are, asking you to contribute. This scenario illustrates the profound disparity between the haves and the have-nots. It's not just about wealth, it's about the sense of entitlement and detachment from the realities of ordinary Americans. And moving on to another critical aspect of our report, President Biden's dwindling approval ratings. A recent CNN poll measured Biden's approval rating at a mere 39%, with even lower figures among independents at 34%. These numbers speak volumes about the current state of our republic. They reflect a growing dissatisfaction and disillusionment with the Biden administration's handling of key issues. Watch.
The country has soured on Joe Biden. There's just not another way to put it. According to our latest CNN poll conducted by SSRS, a national poll gives us this snapshot in time. Biden's approval rating is 39% in our poll. 61% disapprove of the job he's doing. Look at it by party. You see that even among his fellow Democrats, he's only at 77% approval in this poll. Only a third of independents approve of the job he's doing. And of course, as you might imagine, only 5% of Republicans.
Now, the breakdown of these figures is telling. Even among Democrats, Biden's approval is lukewarm for an incumbent, with only 73% expressing support. But it's among independents, often the deciding factor in elections, where the alarm bells are ringing the loudest. With only 34% approval, it's clear that a significant portion of the population is reevaluating their stance. So what does this all mean for the average American? It's a sign of the times. A time where our leaders seem increasingly out of touch with the grassroots. A time where Hollywood elites play politics without understanding the consequences of their actions on the ground. A time where the political divide is more than just a disagreement on policy, but a chasm that affects our everyday lives. And in terms of overall well-being and the direction of the country, the CNN poll paints a grim picture. Only 28% of those surveyed said things were going well, while a staggering 72% indicated the opposite. This dissatisfaction isn't just a number, it's a reflection of the real struggles that you face every day. If you got value from this report, go ahead and tap subscribe. It's your way of saying you appreciate the hard work that goes into uncovering the stories that matter to you. Now, as we conclude, it's crucial to examine the deeper implications of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's recent flip-flop on the Joe Rogan podcast. This isn't merely about a celebrity caught off guard. It's a revealing snapshot of the profound hypocrisy and detachment of Hollywood elites from real American values. The Rock's swift backtrack is not just an awkward moment. It symbolizes the broader issue of insincerity and image manipulation that pervades our cultural icons. This episode starkly highlights the disconnect between the glamorous world of Hollywood and the day-to-day realities faced by average Americans. The Rock, once a symbol of straightforwardness and reliability, now embodies the fickleness and double standards that we increasingly see among the so-called representatives of the people. His words and actions should serve as a clarion call for us, a reminder that we need to hold public figures to a standard of genuine commitment and integrity to ensure our nation is guided by honesty and real representation, not just superficial charm and empty rhetoric.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.